All right. Thank you,
All right.
Naomi, for coming on here. I've been teasing you about this cooking show for a while, and we've got a bunch of my friends on here and a few people who are going to cook along. Some people listen and watch and then cook it later, and some people will pop in and ask questions in the chat. Let me cut and paste the ingredient list, but it's a really simple recipe. Why'd you pick this one?
Yes, that's what makes it fun.
Let's see. Why'd you pick this recipe?
So when it comes, I just want to say thanks for having me. I appreciate.
Who are you?
So yeah, I'm Naomi. And I picked it because I think Brussels sprouts has to be one of my favorite foods of all time. I think that a lot of people have misconceptions of Brussels sprouts, and they think, oh, well, you know, I don't like that, or it's too green or too leafy for me to even consider as, you know, a possibility of being delicious. So I as you know, I have my own business, and with it, God is Good Foods. And, you know, my motto is good food that's good for you. So giving people access to healthier options, but then also just opening up the doorway to options that people don't usually consider. And one, you know, vegetable I think in particular that can be included in that is Brussels sprouts. So I thought
every year I get invited to this one garden and they provide me all the stuff and I grill it all out. And it's in a, you know, maybe you would call it a lower income community, but more so it's just people who, you know, aren't used to grilling vegetables. And they're just like, every year, they're just like, wow.
Just like, I love Brussels sprouts, but they really do smell up the house when you cook them.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Good food's supposed to smell up the house. You haven't cooked at the house doesn't smell like
they
food.
Taste good.
So, God is Good Foods. How'd you get into that?
Yeah, so God is Good Foods. Originally, it started out in COVID. Really reconsidering, okay, what am I doing? What's my purpose, and how can it be applied, you know, to my passion? And I came back to the basis of always having a passion for cooking. I mean, growing up in my grandmother's home, she would always for church be baking cakes and all kinds of pastries and just, you know, food in general for church. And I'd always be in the kitchen watching her. So I'd be the one icing the cakes or helping with the side dish or something like that. And so I went back to what is something that I can have a passion for and also pursue, you know, as an entrepreneur, as a career. And it led me back to food, you know, that love of food, of growing up hearty. And so you can see, you know,
you had the luck of having a food store exactly opposite of mine. I had grandmother and mother who didn't know how to cook.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, grandma cooked all the time and I always went back for seconds. So, so that was something. But able to apply that, and over time just kind of exploring what that looked like. So I began with doing pastries, then I expanded out into
Wait a second. You began with that's the hardest thing, pastries.
Yeah.
Oh so man. You just like went right to the hardest thing possible. Those is like really delicate, like oh man.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I from cakes, pies, cookies, and my I would say most people say my best dish is my cheesecake. So I do a good turtle cheesecake, strawberry cheesecake, New York style cheese, you know, all these different things. So, but
my COVID project was trying to make meringues, and I could make them taste good, but I never ever made them look good.
So well, guess what? You're gonna learn how to do it when I show you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna do it fine.
Oh no, like you're making a lemon meringue pie.
Right.
I'm talking about are the little meringues.
Oh, those. What are the? Yeah. Oh, those are called little meringues. Oh yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah. I know macaroons are really hard too as well because they're pretty delicate in the oven and they'll fall.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about macaroons.
Oh, okay.
Where are you located, Denise?
Naomi.
Oh, are you saying me?
Oh, I'm sorry, Naomi. Where are you located, Naomi?
Oh yeah, I'm located in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm
thank you. Yeah.
Yes. But
right.
I realized, you know, with the pastries aren't the healthiest food option. And so I was like, well, how can I, you know, really go to other part of my passion, which is healthier food options, giving access, especially people that, might come from low income backgrounds, food deserts, and just overall limited access. And so then
Funny
that's
thing is the healthiest stuff is actually usually the cheapest. You just have to know how to make it.
If
Right.
you're shopping
Usually,
in season.
Yeah, but if the things aren't
A whole
available.
cabbage is really cheap. I mean,
But if you're in the
Yeah,
food,
but there's some places you can't get a fresh cabbage. That's the problem.
right.
right,
And that's
true.
specifically here in Chicago, moving here to Chicago, they're on the south side. There's a lot of areas that just are considered food deserts. They don't have access to grocery stores. They don't have access to fresh food options, but rather fried foods, processed foods, and, packaged goods. And so, what is the alternative? So really, helping people realize that, okay, once you do get access to those foods, how do I go about cooking it? How do I go about making it tasty? How do I make it a part of my everyday diet as opposed to it being just—
Sorry, I got a lemongrass branch falling down from here. Like I dry my herbs in this rack up here.
Yeah, I heard that in Detroit, where there's lots of vacant properties and stuff like that, a lot of people are starting to do community gardens in Detroit.
wow.
Yeah. Community gardens, yeah.
Here.
So
Yeah.
All right.
But story short, got us good foods. I just wanted to be able to look at some healthier options. I was doing virtual kitchens, virtual restaurants out of a shared kitchen. And then from there, kind of the rest is history. I currently have frozen cauliflower crust pizzas that I offer in a couple of grocery stores up here. But like I said, gluten-free option, dietary, restricted individuals seem to be really popular amongst them. I saw in the shared kitchen, and I thought, how can I make it where it's more passive as opposed to having to be in one place all the time? So
all right. Let's cook it. Here, I'll show you my ingredients here. It's like, well, first of all, I went and bought like a huge bag of garlic because I'm gonna also make, have you ever had it's a Lebanese garlic sauce. It looks like mayonnaise, but it's garlic, oil, and lemon.
Wow.
I'm gonna make that another time. I mean, I just ran out. Brussels sprouts, I got both frozen, because they were actually really cheap frozen.
Yeah.
And then I got some fresh ones, but they were like 3 times more expensive, the fresh ones.
Yeah.
And then
that's,
of course, olive oil.
Yeah.
And I hope this doesn't ruin it, but I went a little healthier and I got turkey bacon. It's like,
No, you're good.
so
Yeah.
I'll probably make probably a vegetarian version and a turkey bacon one, so I can see the difference in taste.
Yeah.
And then of course I actually always have, like, I get these heads of garlic from the local farmer. I always have lots of big garlic, but I thought today we'd use a lot, so I bought it pre-peeled.
Wow, that's a lot.
That is
I'm gonna make my garlic sauce. Once a month or once every 2 months, I make that Lebanese. It looks just like mayonnaise, but it's emulsified garlic, oil, and lemon. And it is phenomenal.
And what do you do? Put it on things that you make, or?
Oh, you can put it on anything. You can put it, you can just spread it on bread, or you can mix it on pasta or rice, or, in a salad. It's
okay.
basically, it looks like mayo and acts like mayo, but it's like 75% garlic.
Oh, neat.
So,
Can I
all right.
ingredients?
Say again?
Can I go with my ingredients?
Go for it.
All right. So starters for sure, always Brussels sprouts. As you can have the frozen or the fresh ones. I think that they work with both. Only thing with the frozen ones is if you use those, you'll probably have to keep them whole because they'll be a little too smushy to cut up. So probably go with that. I got 2 types of onions, so I like to cook with yellow onion and red onion, and I have a 1/4 of each here. A little bit more than 1/4 of the yellow. And then I got me some garlic. I usually use 3 or 4 cloves, but the more garlic, in my opinion, the better. A little bit of seasoning.
All those recipes that say, 2 cloves of garlic, I was like, what are you talking about?
Right. I love my extra virgin olive oil, and then I have some bacon. So definitely, but like as he said, you can do the recipe with or without bacon. test it out to see which one you like the most. But for me, I'm going to use the bacon just because I want to let people know who might not traditionally eat Brussels sprouts to make it a little bit easier to consume. But I do think that regardless, it's tasty.
The other way I've had it is with balsamic reduction sauce, but it's really hard to get and find or make that, I feel, but it's common. But I absolutely love Brussels sprouts, which is funny because I don't like cabbage.
That is funny.
And I feel like they're basically concentrated cabbage.
Yeah, they are.
You know, but it just, when it's roasted like this, I like it.
Yeah.
I've had it where they like shave it into little salads, and I'm like, no, that's just a coleslaw.
Right.
Why waste a little Brussels sprout to shave it? Just make coleslaw.
Coleslaw. And you know,
right.
in what is it, in Jamaica and I believe in Haiti, they have this spicy slaw that's actually really good. And I think it's interchangeable with, you know, regular cabbage, or you can use Brussels sprouts. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got given from the I do charity cooking, and I just got given 10 heads of cabbage. So I've been asking on the Facebook, what should I do with it? So I think I've narrowed it down to make, someone calls it Asian crack slaw, but it's basically coleslaw with an Asian twist, and then I'll make a bucket of sauerkraut.
Okay.
Nice.
Spicy slaw too. Look up one of those recipes because it's really good. They use bonnet, Scotch peppers, and all kinds of stuff. If you can take it.
Oh, I love Scotch bonnet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So
should I?
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get cooking.
All right. So
probably chop up.
Yeah. What should we do first, Naomi?
So yeah, I start off with onions, chopping those up. And I like mine to be a little bit long. But really the preference that you have for your onions, you know, if you like them in bits, then go ahead and cut yours in bits. But I like my breath to be hot, so I'm okay with a little extra. So I'm going to start.
Anybody who's a regular on the show, remember to save your onions in a freezer bag to make onion soup broth later.
Oh. And I've cut up that yellow onion.
Basically, any of the bits here that you're cutting off, unless it's rotten, save it. Make some veggie broth.
So are we going to be putting that into a fry pan with olive oil?
Yep. Down. I'm going to add olive oil probably fast, but you can go ahead and add it to it if you want to. But yeah, definitely.
Good question. Then we can just cut it right into the fry pan.
Yeah. I think the least amount of dishes is better. Is everybody cooking or some people watching today?
About half and half usually.
Okay. So I got my red onion that I just put in here. And then like
Fred always says, he's good at kibitzing, but he'd rather cook it later.
Oh, okay. And then I definitely think I'm going to use at least 4 cloves of garlic because I really like garlic. But use less if you're not a garlic person.
You said you like making them long strips instead of like actually mincing it, right?
Yeah, looks better at the end of the dish, but then it just kind of comes down, you know, if you're not an onion, I eat onion every single day, so I'm big on it. And then this is interchangeable, you know, if you just want to use one type of onion and not 2, that's fine as well. But I do think the 2 give a little different taste to it.
Oh, you said you're using both kinds of onions?
Yep, I'm using red and yellow.
Okay.
And I cut up my garlic, and I keep my garlic pretty big as well. Kind of cut those down the side. And that's 3 right there. And then you can go to cut up your Brussels sprout. And usually what I do is I like to cut mine down the side and kind of have, kind of like how they do the shaved Brussels sprout salads.
So you're not just cutting them in half, you're actually like, what do they call it? Slicing them.
Slicing them up. Yeah, and if, you know, just because mine are so big, but if they were smaller, then I would just cut them in half, but these are the big guys, so.
Yeah, I think the frozen ones are probably pretty small. I haven't opened them yet, but.
Yeah, and if you have the frozen ones, definitely probably, you might even keep those whole depending on how small they are.
Do you,
Your garlic in the pan?
Yeah, you can add garlic. And I usually use about a tablespoon of garlic. What were you gonna say, Or?
oh, do you usually do this recipe always stovetop, or do you ever do it in the oven?
So in the oven, I actually have a different recipe that I like to use for the Brussels sprouts. I do where I smash Brussels sprouts, where you boil them first, and then you smash them with like a cup or something, drizzle them olive oil, salt and pepper, and then brown them on both sides, and they're almost like Brussels sprout chips. That's how I do my Brussels sprouts in the oven.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I thought about doing both, but I wasn't sure. So we'll start off with this. Maybe invite me back.
Yeah, we basically my rule is if I have to cook for a lot of people, I'll do it in the oven because you can cook a lot more at the same time.
True. So true. And they're so tasty in the oven. Now me today, I'm probably just gonna do half of my bag of Brussels sprouts just to show. But like how you said, if you're cooking for a good big group, then half enough for each person. And if you have bacon that's like not pre-cut like mine is, then you definitely wanna just chop that up into pieces. I'm gonna add that all together because it's gonna cook all down together. How's everybody doing?
I don't know. I already got mine frying. I probably shouldn't have started that so quick.
Well, should we put the garlic in the pan also?
Yes.
Okay.
It tends to be my style when I'm frying stuff. I'll turn it on and just start adding stuff to the fry pan.
And me, the reason why I didn't do that because I don't want the garlic and the onion to cook faster than the Brussels sprouts, but rather all together. Because sometimes you garlic quick.
I turned it back off.
You're mute.
And really, like I said, I like to make it as easy as possible. So if you get everything cut up and put together, then watch it kind of cook together. So I am turning mine on now. And I've added my oil, I've added my seasoning. I haven't added the bacon just yet, but everything else is in the pot.
Hey Naomi, can you please hold up a piece of your Brussels sprout? I just want to see how thick it is.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Thanks.
yeah. So each one, I think I cut each one of my Brussels sprouts in like 4 or 5 slices.
So for me, I found it's easier if you cut off one edge like this and then turn it and then cut the rest this way.
Okay.
I don't know. That's how I always did cabbage. So I just was doing this one the same way. So it has a flat surface.
Yeah. And I'm just going to show everybody what it looks like before I start cooking. So this is with the garlic, the 2 types of onion, red onion, yellow onion, and then the Brussels sprouts cut in 4 to 5 pieces.
That is so pretty.
Thank you. So it'll be even prettier once we're done.
Definitely, I should have put a red onion and give it a little sweetness to it.
Color.
Maybe.
That's a great tip, or about slicing that one edge and then having a flat side to cut through the rest.
I never thought of doing it with Brussels sprouts, but that's how I always do with whole cabbages. So this time I did it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever cut Brussels sprouts this way. I always just cut them in half because I almost always do them in the oven.
And then also you want to make sure that your pan is kind of mid to high. You want to make sure you get that browning of Brussels sprouts and also the bacon. And I got a handful of bacon here. You guys can see that I'm going to throw in the pan. So I would say, it's probably 2 to 3 piece slices of bacon cut up.
Is it cut up? That's what I say.
Yeah. So I'll show you.
I would say
okay.
if you don't have the sweet onion, you probably want to add a little something sweet so you have the balance of all the flavors. Maybe. What do you guys think? Should I? Well, let me taste it beforehand, but if it's not, if it needs a little bit of sweetness, I might add just a little apple cider vinegar.
Yeah. That's always good.
Or if you happen to have balsamic balsamic vinegar or balsamic vinegar reduction. I love me some reduction.
You know, I've never cooked with the reduction.
It's
I
just,
love
I mean,
it.
basically it's
It's
just
good.
concentrated balsamic vinegar,
Oh,
and it just,
A lot of sugar in it.
do they add sugar to it also? But it's just higher flavor. All right, I guess I should be cooking.
yeah.
I'm still,
Start to hear it going.
all right, like medium heat.
Medium to high.
I will say it's smelling really good.
I love it. Yeah, I'm starting to get the aromas too.
I'm gonna say something a little personal here, but I'm actually dying here because I'm fasting. I fast the first couple days of each month.
Oh,
So I did.
Yeah, speaking of fasting, it's also Ramadan.
Oh yeah, it's Ramadan
I'm not
also.
able
Yeah.
to eat
Right.
till sundown.
happy Ramadan.
Yeah, Ramadan Mubarak.
Mubarak.
Well, thank you for not being chased away by our bacon recipe on Ramadan. So wait a second, you're cooking along with us, and you're not going to eat today also,
I'm
right?
cooking it, but I'm not going to eat it until sundown, which is in like
Okay.
8 hours.
All right.
I thought I was having the ultimate self-sacrifice, but you're doing it for a month.
Oh, my
Well,
goodness.
but I don't have to fast the whole day. It's
Well,
just,
that's true. I fast for, it ends up being about 72 hours.
Oh, with nothing at all, water or anything?
No, I mean, I'll do liquids, and then if I'm working hard outside, I will increase my calories, like, you know, drink a big thing of juice. But like right now, I've got, you know, a tea, and this tea's got honey and cayenne in it. That cayenne really gives you energy.
Okay.
All right, let me see what the ones in this freezer package look like. Yeah, they're teeny, and it's actually almost soft enough. You could probably just, if I wasn't fasting, I'd pop one of these in my mouth. I think it's soft enough to eat already.
Well, is that the frozen one?
Yeah, it's frozen, but let me see. It's in a steamer bag. I wonder if they're pre-cooked.
No problem.
'Cause it seems really soft. I mean, like, it's small. 'Cause look
And
here.
Like I said, I like to use when I do my smashed Brussels sprouts in the oven.
Here's the fresh one. Look at the size of the fresh one
Yeah.
versus the frozen one.
Yeah.
Like,
Should we cover it with a lid?
Yes, you can. I don't have mine on because I want to show you guys, but you definitely can. If that adds to the caramelization.
so let me make sure I put everything in. We have Brussels sprouts,
Huh?
onion, and garlic, and of course I'm not doing the meat.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
If you want to use 2 types of onion, you can, or 1 type, whichever you prefer. And then the extra virgin olive oil and any salt and pepper or garlic pepper that you'd like to use on top. And as you can, mine's really kind of cooking now. And I'm gonna let it sit, you know, so that it browns, and then I'm gonna, you know, toss and try to flip over so all sides are getting there. But it's pretty easy and quick too.
so, but you're trying to caramelize everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's caramelized onion and caramelized.
Brussels sprouts.
No.
And if Brussels sprouts and everything starts to stick too much, you can always add a little bit more oil. Look how pretty.
Naomi, I think this is a record how many people are cooking along.
All right.
Just like, my bacon is turkey bacon, which is pre-cooked already. I wasn't in a hurry to put it in, but I'm cutting it up and adding it now.
Yeah. And if you see here, this is the kind of brown I'm talking about for the Brussels sprouts.
Oh yeah, nice. And I was thinking you might have to, sometimes you have to add a little bit of sugar to get caramelized, but that's coming out nice.
Yeah. And I think it's because I got it, my oven goes from 7 to high, so I have it right on 7, right before the high. But
I originally put it all the way as high as possible when I started it. And then once it was frying, I turned it down to about 2/3.
Okay. And also, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, stuff like that is, if it's cooked and it's got the consistency you want when it comes to like the coloring, then you add a little water and add the top to it to make sure it cooks all the way through.
Oh man, it cooks a lot quicker when it's cut up small like this.
Yeah, that's good to make sure you start everything when everything's in the pot because it's gonna cook pretty quick.
What do you like serving this on or with?
What'd you say?
What do you like serving this on or with?
So it's a great side dish to any meat, fish, chicken, beef. I've served it, with steak, and I've served it with stuffed chicken, or even like a little bit of steak. Really comes down to, what your audience likes. Great side dish, or even like if you're on quick and to go and you do something for like lunchtime, this is something that you can kind of have really quickly, maybe with some rice, or a potato.
I was thinking this would be good as a main meal, just with some carbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a little rice.
Yeah, it's good with rice.
Mhm.
And even like how you said with the balsamic vinaigrette, I think that would go good, bring it all together. Now, as you guys can see, mine is pretty much done. Can you guys see that?
Looks great.
Thank you.
Now, let's see. I did mine's about half of it's done because I got a big pan full here. I was trying to think if I served this to the public, what would I serve it with?
I would say if they're meat eaters, definitely go with chicken. Fish eaters, a white fish. Where you vegetarians, you can do without the bacon, and then serve it like, as you said, a carb. They go really good with potatoes. I like Brussels sprouts and potatoes a lot. I would usually do like garlic potato, where you boil it a little bit and then saute the sides of that in a little bit of oil. That goes good with it. But really, I don't think that there's many dishes you wouldn't want to have it with, to be honest.
Yeah, I've got a bag of potatoes that I need to use up. So
Yeah, I would definitely say garlic potatoes then, or Greek potatoes. That's what they're called.
what do you call them?
Greek potatoes. So where you'll cut them up into pieces. Kind of, you can do wedges or you can do them just in cubed. You'll boil them until they're soft, but not soft.
The frozen ones, I mean, they're soft enough. Like literally, I think you could eat them right away. I just tossed them with some olive oil and black pepper and roasted garlic.
Yeah,
I mean,
fried on
maybe warm them up.
Yeah.
Because the directions on the package.
And also maybe like a little feta and rosemary on the potatoes is always good.
Ooh, rosemary.
Mm-hmm. Rosemary.
Look at that. Bundle
Oh,
of rosemary.
Rosemary. That's a
Yeah.
big bouquet.
Oh, I've got this is what I put in my spice mix that I make. So I've got like 10 of these drying, hanging up. But
Yeah, it's pretty easy and quick and simple and tasty. That's what I like. It's tasty, but you think you put a little bit more work into it.
yeah, the interesting thing is a lot of, like, we made tiramisu the other day with the lady from Italy.
Mhm.
And we were just blown away by how simple it was.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks it's really, really complicated.
You know, I thought that about mousse. I made chocolate mousse for the first time a couple weeks ago, and it was so easy.
Oh, have you ever made it with tofu? That's it.
Oh no.
Yep, you can make a really nice, or a cheesecake. You can make a cheesecake. I love key lime cheesecake, but it's made from tofu.
Oh, that sounds good.
You get the soft tofu and you just basically blend it with whatever flavors you want and put it in a pie shell. All right. I think mine's done or pretty close to it. I might caramelize it a little more, but
Yeah. And so you see, I got mine are, you know, it's a little brown when it comes to the bacon and the sides of the Brussels sprouts. But all, you know, all together, not too brown, of course. Yours is looking good.
Mine's,
we able-
oh, sorry. Mine's taking a while to brown, but I could show it to you.
Yeah. Oh, that looks good.
I actually turned mine up. I had it at 2/3 and now I turned it as high as possible and just make sure I keep stirring it.
You gotta have it real high, but just keep stirring it till it browns all the way.
But
If
then,
anybody
of course, it comes down to probably how cooked you like something. A lot of people are so used to cabbage like boiled to death. They might want this a little more cooked. So,
and that's what I was saying, that, you know, if you prefer it that way, add a little water and put the top on, put it on low, and then it'll be a little bit more cooked for you. But my Brussels sprouts, I think, because how thick all the way through.
don't forget, everybody, take a picture of your dish to show off on our Facebook page. There you go. I finally remembered to do a little promotion there, huh? So, all right. Anybody have any questions? Otherwise, stick around and let's eat together. Let's see. Barbara, you had any questions?
No, I'm just tasting some of my, because some of my Brussels sprouts were a little bit bigger. So I'm just tasting them now to see if everything's completely done.
Yeah.
And I would say with you, they're a little bit bigger, add like a tablespoon of water inside of there, turn the heat up just a little bit, and then keep that top on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good idea. Give it a little quick steam.
Yeah.
Yeah, right before you're done. So, all right. Any questions from anybody? I'm gonna make, you know, a big batch of these ones. Again, the frozen ones, I feel like they're cooked enough. They just need to be warmed up infused with the flavor.
Yeah.
They seem to be pretty mushy, and so. Anybody have any final questions? All right, Naomi, you want to leave us with any bits of wisdom?
Yeah. I guess I would just say that, you know, always focus on eating good food that's good for you. We are all goddess good food in our own right, of having royalty to our names, good and bad, when it comes to how we perceive life, you know, the perceptions that we hold and the choices that we make. And then food, when it comes to not only what you put into your mouth, but what you feed your mind and the people you surround yourself with, alongside the self-talk that we have. So as long as we're all, you know, committed to being our own version of goddess good foods, I think that we can always live a healthy and happy life.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you, guys.
And
Thank
feel
you
free to
very
stick
much.
around after we turn the recording off, because we like chatting while we eat. Well, I'm teasing myself.
Well,